The Art of Innovation. It's by Tom Kelly. He's the founder of a design company called IDEO, and you could do some research on this company. It's an amazing place to be working. Tom Peters has written about it himself, and he says that he finally has found a company where he could work himself. It's a fun place. People go there. They play games. Every day there's a lot of brainstorming. It's a high energy place. And apparently very high level of trust is placed on the personnel working there. It's not a hierarchical type of a company where everyone's watching everyone else. So I hope someday to visit their various offices. I know they've expanded. They were in the United States, now they're in China, Shanghai if I'm not mistaken. This book was an eye-opener for me because it talks about how innovation can be done, what are the tools that they use in their company. Some of the tips that he gives, number one, continue to observe things, continue to notice things very carefully, whatever you're doing, how people work, have a child's mind. So throughout the book he talks about it. Then he says have a bug list. Look around, what are the things that disturb you, things that you wish you could change. Have an empathetic mindset. If you see a child doing something and you think that the child is having difficulty, you might want to find a way to make life easier for the child. For instance, they designed a toothbrush that was the size of a child's wrist because children have small hands and they can't hold a normal toothbrush properly. So small little things. How would a patient in a hospital be feeling? So they would strap people with cameras and run them through a stretcher. The whole hospital, the way an emergency ward runs, and see it from the perspective of a patient who continues to see the roof, who looks around, he feels disturbed at what is happening to him. So observation and empathy for the different people working or experiencing different events and different physical spaces. And then he says, think about products not as nouns, think of them as verbs. So don't think that what you have is a telephone. Don't call it a telephone. Call it something else. A telephone, by calling it a phone, you call it a noun. But that product is now an experience, a verb. It is a process of calling, it is a process of talking, it is a process of connecting. So start to feel the verbs instead of a static idea, which is a product. So he's like, think about everything as though it is something that is happening. It is a process. Then he moves to another idea, which is cross-pollinate. If you have an idea in medicine or medical field, how doctors run something, you could apply that to engineering field, which is happening quite a bit nowadays. A lot of ideas that were practiced, which were best practices in hospitals, are being used in manufacturing industry. He is just suggesting that we should look into cross-pollinating wherever we are and try to, wherever possible, try to keep things as much fun and enjoyable throughout the innovative process. So he says that when we start doing brainstorming, our rule, the first rule is to keep it fun, to keep it upbeat, to keep it energetic. And when starting a brainstorm, now brainstorming is very critical. When you start a brainstorm, contextualize the issue that you wish to brainstorm. So state the challenge and state it in a positive format. How can we improve X, Y, Z?